everybody, and welcome to the show, Talk with the Twinsies. I'm Brandon.
I'm Brandy.
All right, we have a very informative episode for you guys today. Today's episode, we're going to talk about something that every family has experienced as children growing up. Have you ever had any childhood games such as hopscotch or
Red
Rover, jumping rope? What else did we play as kids? We used to play Foursquare, kickball. All of these are child-friendly games, right? Mm-hmm. That we all play with our family. Well, one game we found quite unusual growing up as kids, and the name of this game was Hide and Go Get It.
What you say?
Hide and Go Get It, sis. If you done went through that, if you done played that game as a child, it's time for you to talk with the Twinsies. All right, so that's it. The game is called Hide and Go Get It. So this episode, we're going to talk about that. Now, we didn't think that this was a bad game. As children with older cousins, you just think that this is just a regular game that everybody playing. That
or y'all say a regular smegular game.
Regular smegular game. So we thought that it was supposed to be fun and exciting, but I mean our older cousins had a different idea of what we thought it was. All right, so the game Hide and Go Get It. What is that? So Hide and Go Get It is a version of hide and seek played with boys on one team and girls on the other team. When the boy finds the girl, he gets to perform anything sexual of his choice to her. Sis? Baby, now that's the Urban Dictionary version, all right? And with the world that we live in and the millennium that we live in, that is hitting spot on. That is exactly what Hide and Go Get It is. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know what it was until we started playing it. I'm thinking, maybe our cousins done hit a basketball, or they done hit maybe a Ninja Turtle toy or Easter egg or something like that, and they hit it and we had to go get it, and whoever found it wins the game. Mm-hmm. But that's definitely not what our older cousins had in mind. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I know we're not the only family that has older cousins that's done taught us a lot of stuff. All right. So we're going to put it on out there. You can get on here and act like you're holier than thou, that you ain't never been through anything, but we know that you lying. And we know that everybody in every family done been through some type of situation that involved a family member. Mm-hmm. So sis, when we played the game, Hide and Go Get It, what did you think it was? And what was your experience with that?
I probably like what you said. If a family member hides something, we go find it. As far as Easter eggs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was a game performing sexually things on whoever you find. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we didn't realize that until we were older. Yeah. We didn't realize how crazy it was or how wrong it was until we got older. Honestly, playing the game Hide and Go Get It with our older cousins, yes, was one of the first times I experienced what molestation was.
Me too.
I didn't know what molestation was until, I got older, 7th grade, 8th grade, and, teachers taught us about this. They all came out and told us about that, and I didn't know what that was. But when you realized, so for you, sis, what happened to you so walk us through what you experienced.
Okay, well, we're all outside playing as normal kids, family members, and cousins would do. Mm-hmm. And so somebody says, let's play Hide and Go Get It. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we're all running around. Somebody's counting to 10. So I got this.
The boys were counting to 10.
Yes, the boys were
girls
counting
had to go hide. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. So I got this pretty little white dress on and my little Barbie doll panties. Oh, I was so cute. But anyways, so I'm running, but I go behind the house. At this point, it was just like an old house with bushes behind it. So I'm there. My oldest cousin comes up and he says, I found you. So I'm like, okay. So he's like, you got to pull your panties down. I'm like, okay, if this is what the game is, then that's what I'm going to do. So I pulls my panties down and he goes to penetrate me. Now, as a girl, I didn't know right from wrong. I was just like, is this how the game's supposed to go? I'm not feeling right. So a few days after, or maybe so-and-so, because at the time family said we shouldn't tell family secrets, but I felt like I had to tell someone. Caused so much chaos. And that was the first time I ever felt like, wow, is cousins really supposed to do this to you?
Absolutely
I know it's not right.
No. And sis, I mean, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. That is definitely something that our family don't want to talk about. And even when we take these things to our to our parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles, we tell them that these things had happened. However, they take, of course, every parent is going to be for their child. Right. So if you go to your parent and you tell them that your cousin did this to you, that's going to cause some chaos between your parents. Yes, it does happen to where your kids can do things and it'll get the parents into it. You can't tell me that it don't happen, because it does. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry that happens, sis, but I knew that you felt some type of way about that you felt wrong about that. So I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I'm just glad that it wasn't like hours and hours of penetration, because no telling what would have happened, at that point.
Right. So. Well, I have a similar experience. However, so the girls went to hide first. We were all out there playing, and the girls went to hide first. So after the girls went to hide, the boys, we had to go find them. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do when I found the girl. So I end up finding one of my older cousins. I found her, and she was like, "Oh, you found me." And then she was like, "We gotta pull our pants down. Like, we gotta put our clothes down." And I was like, okay, I didn't know what the heck that meant. Do I need to pee or something?
Because mom and dad didn't introduce us to sexual.
Yeah, we didn't know anything
like
about that. We didn't know.
Hell, I didn't even know what it meant to have a baby until I came up pregnant. But things happen.
I didn't even know really what penetration was. Right. I didn't know what cum was. Well, these days kids, they all call it nut or jizz or whatever they call it. I don't know. I didn't even know what that stuff was. However, my older cousins, they were older and they were teenagers, so I'm pretty sure. I'm sure that they knew what all of that was. So my experience was, I found my older cousin, and she told us we had to pull our clothes down, and we pulled our clothes down, and she told me to lay down on the grass. So I laid down in the grass, and I still had my underwear up. Of course, I had my underwear on, and she had her underwear on, and then she got on top of me and started grinding. Now, you know what happens when you rubbing carpet together or fabrics together?
Yeah.
It get kind of hot. So I'm sitting here wondering, why does it feel like it's carpet burning down here? And that's because we were rubbing that doggone fabric together, baby, and it caused a fire up in there. But then that caused some like abrasion on my skin, because down there, your genital area is very sensitive. So you just imagine taking a dry cloth and just rubbing it up against your skin over and over and over for 2-3 minutes. That's going to get hot and cause you to get a bruise or a blister or some type of injury, and that's what had happened. So I didn't know what that was, and my mom were bathing, we got our baths and everything one day, and she was like, "Why is you red right there?" And I was like, I ain't gonna say her name, but I'm saying, well, our cousin, we was hunching. That's what we called it back then. Call it hunching or humping. And that was a moment right there when mom had told me that wasn't right, that we shouldn't be playing that. And then she got on the phone. Back then we had landline phones.
Whenever we could use it, or she used it.
Got on the landline phone and called up my cousin's parents. And that caused an issue between them, and they got into a disagreement. But we're gonna get more into that a little later in our season, go into more details. But we just want to say to everybody that if you've experienced something of the sort, talk to somebody. All right, tell a family member, tell somebody that you know that's going to support you and give you direction on what to do, because no family, no children should be playing the game hide and go get it. That is highly, highly inappropriate. And we're going to come back and talk why because it can cause and open up other doors in the relationships with your family members, and it can cause a lot of issues. But we're gonna take a quick break, sis. It's gotten good so far, so y'all don't leave us, all right? We got more of Talk with the Twinsies coming right back up after this. Welcome back to Talk with the Twinsies. I am Brandon.
I'm Brandy.
All right, before the break, oh my goodness, we got into a real deep family issue. I'm telling you, this stuff really happened, y'all. We're not on here just making this stuff up. These are things that we really did experience growing up as children. Now, we're not trying to badmouth anybody or call out anybody. This is just something that we're talking about that happened a long time ago. However, this still exists today. There are families today that are dealing with these issues, and we want to help you and tell you that there is help available. And if you are unsure if something is right or wrong, ask somebody. Yes. Ask somebody and talk to somebody. So before the break, we had also talked about how we first experienced molestation from our people who call themselves our family, and we're trying to figure out, why weren't we able to, get to the bottom of things? Why weren't we taught that this was wrong or told this was wrong? And it has a lot to do with some toxicity in our families. Right. I mean, it's not just individual people. Sometimes we got a whole family that's toxic to other family members. Oh, yeah. We got this family over here, toxic to that family over there, and y'all supposed to be kinfolk. Yeah. All right. So we're just talking about that. But anyways, what I say we're going to do is just rent out. So anyways, we didn't realize that the game that was supposed to be so childhood friendly and fun, hide and go get it, we weren't sure if it was right or wrong. So all we knew is that when we both experienced molestation with our older cousins, we had no idea that it was right or wrong. And I probably said that already, but we as kids were taught, and I don't know about any other family but us now, we were taught that you are supposed to love your family members, that you're supposed to have their back. If, let's say, they get into a fight at school, you would most definitely supposed to have their back. You're supposed to help your family member, and you're supposed to trust them. Yes. So how in the world are we supposed to trust a family member that is sexually molesting us and making us think that it's okay, all right? And it's really not. That can cause a lot of trauma in any child's life. Yes. So we're telling you now that it is not okay for any child or any families to play this game, hide and go get it, all right? And especially with family members and cousins and sisters and brothers, you aren't supposed to do things like that.
It's crazy because me carrying this from a little girl to now, and for me being able to talk this out and help other young ladies in the world, I feel so much better.
As you should.
And that's why feels relieved. That's why we're talking about it. My mind feels relieved. My body feels relieved.
That's why we're talking about it, sis.
Because I believe if I would have carried this stuff still now, then it would affect what I got going on in my future life.
Yeah. So. And these are things that, we have to be mindful of as adults with children. Because when we grew up in our time, we sound so old, so back in our day.
1986.
Okay, back in our day. Wow, it's a lot has really changed, and it can be a good thing that you practice.
It's so hard being the finest fucking cousin.
Is it sis? You fine, sis?
It's so hard to be the finest fucking cousin.
You was already pretty one. That's why they went after you all the time. I know that's right. So you better know you fine, baby. Well, I don't know if I was handsome or not. I always had like a nappy head.
Shit, it don't matter.
Like I needed a haircut like all the time. So
we turned it.
Okay,
we'll get into
I remember
that.
Y'all did that. We'll talk about that on the show later on, how y'all got me. But I was fine though. But anyway, but sometimes it has a lot to do with it too, because you want to go after the pretty girl. You want to go after the handsome boy. You don't want to go after nobody ugly. Okay, because we do got some ugly cousins.
Some smelling like pee.
Okay, and some smelling like pee. But we ain't gonna talk about them like that, babe. But we got some ugly ones. And when we did play the game hide and go get it, you better know, baby, I was not looking for the ugly cousin. I'm just saying. See, I didn't didn't know that it was wrong what we were doing either. So we did it anyway, under the direction and guidance of our older cousins, because they told us what to do. So that's what we did, and and we just went with it because, of course, they're older and they're supposed to, be trustworthy. We're supposed to listen to them. Just odd stuff that didn't make no sense back then. But yes, but I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna talk about nobody. But we do got some monsters, and they know it. So we ain't gonna really talk about them like that, because we love y'all. Love our cousins. I know. See, I know. Don't talk about them.
Okay.
But anyways, all right. But yeah. So that was that. We're gonna move on into our questions. We got a couple of questions, and it's pretty odd. We got 2 questions, and these individuals asked to be anonymous. They wanted their information confidential. So we're just going to answer their questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. All right. So question number 1 from our anonymous subscriber. They said, "How do you call out a family member for being guilty of something wrong they did to you?" How do you call them out? You just speak it.
Yeah, don't hold it in.
Don't hold it in. You go to somebody and you either go to them and tell them they were wrong for doing you like that. Sometimes you may not have to say anything because they'll tell on themselves. Didn't we just experience that, Sissy?
Yes.
We just experienced this. So last week, we uploaded our first episode. We talked about toxic family dynamics, and we talked about one of the events that took place when we were children. And the guilty viewer and subscriber had commented on the, we posted it on Facebook. It goes to YouTube and to Facebook. But they commented on there, asked us if we had a problem, and told us that we need to talk to our mom, and then gonna say expect a letter, from their lawyer. And we was like, what? I said, so right then and there, we didn't speak anybody's name. We didn't say anything personal about an individual. They felt a lot of guilt in their heart, and they went and posted that comment, and they told on themselves. All right, so if you go on there, and you'll see it. You go on there, you can go on the Facebook page and see it. They may be deleted by now, but just in case, we ain't gonna be too petty. But we did screenshot it, all right? And this is what it looks like. Now, we didn't post this. This is a comment they posted. The moment that it was posted, it became public information, and it was screenshotted and obtained for our records. This is what it looks like right there. What did we have to say anything, sis?
Nope.
We didn't have to say a doggone thing because they went on there and told on themselves.
What they say about a herd of dogs.
So this is what they say. So whenever and I have to give my credit to our career and orientation high school teacher, Mr. A.C. Pilgrim. He done went on to be with the Lord.
That was my baby.
He told us this. He said, if you got a herd of dogs and you throw a brick in the middle of that herd, the dog that get hit with the brick is the one that's gonna holler. So what we did on our episode last week, we had a herd of everybody. We threw a brick in there, which was one of the issues that happened. And the dog that got hit was the one that went on Facebook and commented and that's the one that hollered. So you ain't gotta say nothing. You don't have to do anything. They're gonna tell on themselves, and then that's a decision that they'll have to live with in their life. Next question. Okay. What's the next question, Sissy?
This is an odd question, but some of us don't know what it means to throw a rock and hide your hands. Can you explain that to us, please?
Oh, throwing the rocks and hiding your hands. Baby, who ain't dealt with that in their family?
Baby, I'm dealing with it right the
Baby, and I'm telling you. So, what they telling us about this here? So, let me break it down for you. So, when a person throws a rock and hides their hand, that specifically means this. It means that they start some kind of trouble. No matter what it is, they start some kind of problem or trouble in their family or anywhere. And then they don't take responsibility for that. For example, let's say somebody, let's
say like, so-and-so got their lights turned off, girl. They go switch up the story and say, "Oh, girl, you know, so and so got their lights turned off. So and so told me that when you was the one that, you know."
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So you are initiating information that could be true, information that may be true, but you go to somebody else and you say that you heard it from somewhere else. That's throwing a rock and hide in your hand. Like, you knowing that you done caused some trouble telling this person that.
Like, it just recently happened to me a while ago.
What?
Somebody went back and told my mom that I quit my job for a man. What the hell I look like?
Quitting your job for a man. We know that's a damn lie.
It was cutting into my time. No, baby, the job I had was cutting into my money, baby. I need a steady paycheck, not some little coin.
I know that's right.
Thank you.
You're right. And the person who went back and said that told somebody that it had happened, that she done quit her job for some man. It wasn't even nothing like that. But then when it came around to them saying, you know, they reach out again, calling and asking, you know, where they at, how things were doing, how they doing, when you done already called and told somebody else that this woman here done quit her job and done, you know, for some man. All right. But when it come time for you to take responsibility to that, when we found out that it was a lie and it got back to the person, you didn't want to take responsibility for that.
They for failure get hit in her damn mouth. That's all it was.
I know that's right too. But that's still some examples of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's how we can answer that. But yes, that happens a lot in our families. To our anonymous subscriber who asked that question. But yes, that is to start some kind of trouble and then not take responsibility for it. That's basically throwing a rock and hiding your hand. All right. Well, we have concluded our questions on today. We certainly hope that you guys tune in with us next week. We're going to come with something real deep next week. All right. We're going to talk about, you know, how family is supposed to come together. Even folks that ain't kin to you, you're supposed to come together. All right. We got a great little video that we're going to put together about that. All right. But anyways, if you have any questions, please, or if you need help, want to talk to a counselor, please email us at talktotwinsies@gmail.com. What they need to send it to, sis?
talktotwinsies@gmail.com.
All right, y'all. We certainly thank y'all for tuning in with us today. We look for y'all joining us next week for another episode of Talk with the Twinsies. All right, guys. We're going to drink to that.